I'm Lily McNair. I'm Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs at Wagner College in New York City. And I'm here to participate in our team's participation in the Institute and celebration today. Our session focused on the result of Dwight Giles' assessment of the research on Carnegie classification applications during the last several years, with particular emphasis on how is engaged scholarship addressed within across different campuses. So I talked about the implications of his findings for our campus, and I shared our campus's history of developing a cultural transformation in terms of promoting civic engagement, integrated learning, and experiential learning. And I really focused on the ways in which a very strategic and intentional visionary process that was implemented by our then provost, who is now our president, Richard Garassi, really set the stage for a major, huge cultural transformation of the entire campus. So much so that Wagner's identity is really reflected in the Wagner Plan for the Practical Liberal Arts, which has as its core a focus on experiential learning and civic engagement, and how this theme and how this commitment is pervasive throughout the entire institution, not only in the academic curriculum, but as President Garassi and all of us say, the Wagner Plan is everything about Wagner. I think it's very important to keep in mind that this type of cultural transformation takes place over time, and to embrace little steps with a core group of very dedicated, focused, and committed people, with the support and the vision of leadership throughout campus, with the support and the commitment of faculty throughout campus. That's very, very key. And really think about how change has to occur in any institution, in any organization. Number one, people need to feel like this is the right time, the energy is right, the moment is right. We've got to do this because it's so central and critical to who we are. Once you get to that point, then the implementation of a plan can proceed. But before you get to that point, I think it's really important for leaders and people who are committed on campus to work together to get to the place where this important critical mass of energy and commitment are very visible and evident. You know, in this day and age, the value of a liberal arts education, the value of any college or university education is being very much scrutinized by higher ed administrators around the country, by potential students, by parents, you name it. People want to know, what are we getting for our money's worth, and how are you delivering on your promise? The reality of this world, especially an increasingly global and international world, faced with complex problems that are interdisciplinary, that cross various disciplines, that have a huge impact on the way in which we live, demands that people learn how to work collaboratively as teams to really address these problems. We're really talking about applied research. We're not only talking about basic research that's done in your library, at your computer, or in a laboratory. We're talking about applying the results of these findings, or applying your research perspectives to address important problems that face humanity, that face communities, whether the community is your local community or your neighborhood or a global issue. So in effect, there are real needs for us in the academy to work with our faculty and students to address these types of pressing problems that impact us, to train students to become educated citizens and leaders, and be the people who will be able to make this world a better place. What better way to do this than through a scholarship, engaged scholarship, and through applied civic experiential learning? It really gives students an opportunity not to learn and then go out and figure out how to make it in the world, but to really give them a head start and train them and teach them how to be leaders who can make a difference in the world, no matter what they choose to do with their skills. This has been a very exciting institute, and I'm already looking forward to next year. Number one, it's so critically important for all of our campuses to come together to talk about innovative new ideas, to find ways to support each other, to learn how to problem solve with each other. Because this is very difficult work. We're at different stages in the process of becoming engaged campuses. We can support each other. We can support the campuses who are seeking that Carnegie classification. We can learn from campuses who have already achieved it and are still looking for more engaged ways to become more engaged and productive members of our communities. There's a lot we can learn from each other, and I appreciate what Campus Compact does. Something that came up in my session this morning was one campus really putting out a call for the development of some consortia among some Campus Compact campuses so that we can really continue the work beyond our yearly meetings. And especially given this economic climate, those types of partnerships are critically important. So I'm looking forward to that type of engagement with one another.